Welcome back to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. This is Benji, and today we are looking at how to play Mekk-Knight Crusadia. We're here with my brother Jordan. Say hello.
Hello.
Alright, now we're playing a very odd and fun variant of the deck. If you're not familiar with this series, what we normally do is that I'm given a deck by an expert. Now my brother is not necessarily an expert at playing this particular kind of deck, but he does make very interesting kinds of decks. And then I usually play out the deck, and the expert explains to me how to play the deck, and by being a competent player, I normally ask them why we're making plays and so on. Now, I continuously messed up earlier, so we redid that, and he actually played out the games. We recorded them all, and we've presented them with commentary after the fact. They're all aired live, so it's going to be a lot of replays, and we're going to be discussing how to play out this kind of a deck. But let's take a quick look at the card by card. We're playing one copy of Mekk-Knight Avram, we call Ronald, one copy of Thunder King the Lightning Strike Kaiju, one copy of Dogaron the Mad Flame Kaiju, three copies of Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall, two copies of Indigo Eclipse, two copies of Gameciel the Sea Turtle Kaiju, one copy of Radian the Multidimensional Kaiju, three copies of Pankratops, one copy of Mekk-Knight Red Moon, one copy of Mekk-Knight Yellow Star, two copies of Blue Sky, two copies of Iron Dragon Tiamatan, three copies of Crusadia Maximus, one copy of Zodiac Thoroughblade, one Zodiac Whiptail, three Phantom Skyblaster, one Crusadia Draco, one Zodiac Ratpier, three Balbaboon, one Gem-Knight Lazuli, three copies of Instant Fusion, two Double Summons, two Terraformings, one Monster Reborn, one Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, one World Legacy Succession, two Called by the Graves, two Twin Twister, one Set Rotation, three Brilliant Fusion, three Zodiac Barrage, one Kyoto Waterfront, one Crusadia Revival, two Black Gardens, one World Legacy Secret, and in the extra deck we play one Gem-Knight Seraph-Knight for the Brilliant Fusion, Millennium Eyes Restrict and Thousand Eyes Restrict for Instant Fusion, Zodiac Chakanine and Zodiac Borbo for the Zoo Engine, one Topologic Bomber Dragon, one Boral Sword Dragon, one Yugioh Skull Dread, one Crusadia Equimax, one Mekk-Knight Morningstar, one Crusadia Regilex, one Underclock Taker, one Link Spider, one Link Haribo, and one Crusadia Magius. Now, some of these cards probably look familiar for a Mekk-Knight deck, some probably look familiar for a Crusadia deck, some don't seem to really fit into either, and I know people have played combos of these decks before. I wanted to talk about some of the more interesting techs that are in the deck. Firstly, I wanted to talk about Iron Dragon Tiamatan.
Alright, well, Iron Dragon Tiamatan, he's pretty easy to make live, because an extra zone you could fill it yourself usually, or your opponent will fill theirs. And there's times where the opponent will have an extra zone and a monster or a spell trap. You could just play something like Instant Fusion and then chain, put him there, they lose two cards, and you shut out their three zones, or excuse me, the three zones, and it will even potentially domain lock them if you use the extra monster zone, the other one. Or basically, he's easy to put on the board for the most part, and yeah, you could lock out zones.
Just in case anyone's unclear on what he does, as soon as there's three cards in the same column for either player, or a combination of both players, you can just special it from your hand, and he destroys all cards in that column, and no card in that column is used. So you're just using it mostly to domain lock your opponent by domain locking the extra zone that you're not using. Okay. Next up, the ratio of Crusadia cards. We have three Maximus and one Draco, which seems odd. What would you like to explain further?
Sure. So the idea is, it's kind of like triple Brilliant Fusion and a Gem-Knight monster. You kind of want to see the three of. So you'll summon him. Basically him plus a monster that can be special summoned below. Excuse me. Crusadia Maximus plus a monster that could be special summoned below Crusadia Magius could wind up equaling Equimax plus Crusadia Maximus. So you'll summon him, or you'll summon Maximus, you'll go into Magius, and then you'll special below the Magius.
It could be anything, right?
Yeah, anything to search the Draco. And then you'll you'll link into either Underclock or Regilex or Morningstar, and that's when you could, and Underclock obviously you'll use his effect first, but that's when you summon the Draco to add back the Maximus, then you link into Equimax, special back the Maximus, target, and you basically could steal games that way.
Okay, so pretty much that's the minimal Crusadia engine you can get away with.
Yeah, in my opinion, the minimum would be 3, 1, and 0, but I run this at 1 because if I have Black Garden, I could give my opponent monsters and just kill over them. Basically, do that whole combo with Black Garden up till they have 1 or 2 tokens, 2 I guess, just to guarantee the OTK, and then play this before I summon, play a Revival before I summon Equimax, and then just attack through both of the tokens.
Alright, now we were having some issues with Black Garden on Yugioh Pro, so just note that it doesn't work properly, and we're going to try and look into talking to the Yugioh Pro editors to fix that.
Yeah, it works for the most part, but it does have some issues.
Yeah, occasionally it just acts weird in the attack point.
Any other cards you wanted to?
Well. Yeah, this Zodiac Engine. You have 3 monsters and 3 barrage.
Okay, so, like, obviously you want to see barrage first, just to summon a zoo card. However, if you see the reason these guys are in 1, 1, and 1, he's obviously limited 1, and he can make Chakanine live immediately.
So Rapier will put either the Whiptail or the Thoroughblade in the graveyard to make Chakanine a card.
And then Thoroughblade is also good due to being able to, if you have barrage plus another zoo card, it will net you a new draw. And if it's barrage plus a Whiptail or Raptier, that's what you could discard to make Chakanine live as well.
Okay, so there's 2 ways to make the Chakanine immediately live, and one of them is a special summon.
Yeah, having barrage plus a zoo that isn't Thoroughblade, I guess. So, yeah. And then Whiptail's in just because he has the ability to banish cards. So. And he could move a little bit, you know. He's my bootleg move man, Indigo Eclipse, you know.
Okay, so nice tech. Let's see.
Those also combo with Bababoon, of course, the barrages.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Why we put Bababoon in besides comboing with barrage because of a different issue.
Yeah, well, we do run bricks, as most decks with Brilliant Fusion do, you know. So it's nice to get the Lazuli back in the deck. Excuse me, I just deleted it.
That's okay, we'll pull it back up.
It's nice to get the Lazuli back in the deck, or the Crusadia Drago, because that's technically a brick in this deck. We don't want to see it until we put a Maximus in the grave. So, or the Crusadia Revival. So there's a, plus, you know, any card could be a brick, and given the circumstance, like a Kaiju, if your opponent has no monster, is a brick. So it's nice. Plus, if it is destroyed, you could crash it, you could barrage it. It gets you more monsters for potential link fodder. And we don't just OTK with Equimax, we OTK with the same thing as everybody else. Boral Sword Dragon.
Yes, this is Boral Sword Turbo.
Yeah.
Kind of. One more comment on the Zoo engine. The Zodiac engine also gives you the option of just normal summoning a Zoo and creating an extra zone monster, allowing you to summon all your Mekk-Knights out of your hand.
Yeah, Barrage is nice to potentially put out guys just by using that zone, or these guys do, like you said, make an extra zone on their own, so that's convenient.
Now, we were trying chain summoning, but settled on double summon.
Yeah, double summon's a little better. They both stack with Brilliant Fusion. However, the double summon you could set for Mekk-Knights because it's not a quick play like chain summoning. Also, obviously, you don't have to create the chain. And then normal spells are just harder to negate in a lot of ways. And yeah, I think it's just better overall.
Alright, so we played about 5 games. We're just going to provide commentary to these games. They're not speedy replays. They are being played out legitimately, so actual decisions were made when we recorded them. We're just going to walk through what happened, and the reason for that is we didn't work so well together when we tried to play it out and discussed it on the spot. So we just focused more, played the games better, and we're going to provide better commentary for that.
One more card I wanted to address before we move forward is we are a blind second deck, because obviously there's a lot of OTK potential in this deck, but we have the, for going first, potentially, if we're forced to, we have World Legacy Secret, which if we could pull off the Morningstar, we try to discard a Indigo Eclipse, and then we sort of have 2 pseudo monster negates, or 3 depending if they actually summon behind him, because you spawn him from the grave, and then you can move him around, and this guy, Morningstar. Plus, they can't kill things in battle. Somewhat with Morningstar there. So there's nice combos there. And also the Waterfront, because we could potentially draw it for terraforming or set rotation off Saryuja, or we could open it. So Saryuja to Gamma Seal could also be a turn 1 play. So this deck can go first. It's obviously much better going second, but some of these cards do make it a lot better to go first too. Also, I've used Waterfront many times and OTK'd while putting my own negate on board, so it's good going first or second.
Yeah, no, just getting Gamma Seal out in any way is great. We tribute summoned it after using a double summon.
Yeah.
So there's some pretty neat things you can do. Anyways, we're going to get into the games, and yeah. So we're getting into the first game. Now, this game actually doesn't go well, but we do get to see the glitch with Black Garden that currently exists on Yugioh Pro, so we figured we'd show it. Although we actually did open an excellent hand for going second, which is the goal of this deck. Blind second and OTK your opponent. I think it was a mediocre Blackwing open, if I recall correctly, for our first game.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. Open Steam. Now, Steam wasn't actually in the Blackwing deck that we did for our How to Play Blackwings that we just posted the other day, but I asked Kieran about it, and he specifically said that it just wasn't as effective as a normal summon of other options that there were available. So our opponent didn't open Black Whirlwind, so automatically he has a suboptimal hand. I can always cut things in between, so we could have dead pause. Alright, so he's testing the new Raid Raptor Link monster, which will get him a level 4 Wing Beast from his deck to his hand. Or no,
I think it specials it, and it's a Dark Wing Beast.
Dark Wing Beast.
Does it have to be level 4 or level 4 or lower?
I can't really check because we're not actually playing. We are recording audio.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like his board ends very similar to how it looks at the moment, just with the standard Armor Master, and not much else.
Yeah. I recall playing this one wrong.
Did we play it wrong? I mean, we put ourselves in a position where we were susceptible to hand traps, but I'm not sure if our hand could have played around it as well as we needed. I'm pretty sure we're going to be top decking Maximus for turn. Leading us down.
Oh yeah, I think when I saw the Maximus, I was thinking between the tokens and the Maximus we could easily OTK. The issue was I didn't have a monster to special behind the Maximus.
Yeah, like normally we would do that by just specialing a Mekk-Knight behind it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Instant Fusion, Barrage, like a whole bunch of stuff. But I didn't have that, so I just got excited when I saw the Maximus and just misplayed it altogether.
Aren't that many options for us otherwise.
Yeah.
With this particular opening hand, we pretty much needed one monster that could be special to go with Maximus. Considering we didn't have Maximus, I guess that wasn't like what we were wishing for at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wound up reborning the Maximus after these two tokens.
Using the effect of Black Garden. Now at the moment, our monster's attack is halved, and it should be. And I think we get to see the glitch now. When we special summon the Maximus, his attack should go to 1650, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it stays the same. So
it seems that Black Garden's glitch happens to deal with we would have won the game and OTK'd him if we didn't get Ash here. Just in case it's not clear on how to do that, we would be searching the Draco. We'd be linking up into any link 2, really. I guess we'd get the field spell. Yeah, we get the field spell, so our Equimax could attack the 2 tokens. Yeah, so the Draco that we're going to be summoning off this. Actually, yeah, we'd be linking these into the link 2 Regulix. A lot of things they could attack. I mean, they could attack his level 1's 100 attack guy. Yeah, so he's going to get more tokens. So this is kind of where we have to stop, unfortunately. Yeah, if we had a Draco, we would have summoned it, recovered the Maximus, went into Equimax, and then continued. Yeah. Alright, so we're playing against Hello. Very polite, nice thing. Of course, neither of us picked the high 5 wave. More like goodbye, am I right? Yeah. Alright, so this hand is interesting. Because we've got the Equimax, the Waterfront, and the Dogoron, and the Instant Fusion. So, off the bat, it looks like, Waterfront,
give them a kaiju, summon Maximus, play Instant Fusion, search, summon Yamasil as soon as we can, just to have a negate, and then just OTK. So it looks like a great going second, easy OTK hand, almost the perfect hand actually.
So this is like a 5 counter Gamma Seal and an amazing OTK.
Well, obviously it depends what he does, and the deck we're against puts out a Snow Engrave, at least one. So the hand goes from being perfect to just, I don't know, we got to play around it.
Alright, we made a bet on what monster he would send to the graveyard.
Yep, so you owe me $1?
I owe you $1, because I said he's going to send Snow, and then you said no.
I said there's no way, there's no way that he would send Snow. Because there's a few reasons. One, he has the Heroic Champion guy, or Heroic Challenger. Yeah, 1000 Blade, so he should have sent Trick Clown. And then he wound up sending Wolf.
Of all the things he could send.
And then ironically, Foolish Burial's the Snow in a second, so...
Yeah, that was really disappointing. I didn't get to figure that out.
Speaking of, you got my money?
Yeah, I got your money.
Alright, good, because this is some good OJ.
I hear you, Stewie.
Alright.
Foolish Burial was being played on... What card was it again? Sorry.
Snow. Remember?
So,
We just said it.
I know. So Snow's in play. I think he's going to make a pretty interesting board of Minerva and...
Yeah, this is a this is a huge misplay because he soul charges.
Yeah,
so he just wastes his Monster Reborn here. So
he can just soul charge the monster unless he at least linked it away. You know, if he were to, he summons like a wolf with this Monster Reborn, and then he just soul charges for 3 monsters. So he's gonna have 5,000 life points and no Monster Reborn. So he could just soul charge for 4 monsters.
Yeah, it was definitely silly.
Just save Monster Reborn, yeah. Or at the very least. Link, summon like a Link 3 or something, and link up.
2 or 3 to Reborn just for Link fodder.
Yeah, and then link it into a Link 4, and then play the Soul Charge afterwards. So, yeah, this is the only time we ever made like a comment on a game, because I don't like to insult my opponents because I don't like them to rage quit because it defeats a lot of the timing purpose.
I do. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like to, but I just felt like saying it because it was like such a blatant misplay. Like I misplay too, obviously, but that one was just like. One that could be easily fixed in the future, so I may as well tell him if it's not obvious.
If you misplay less,
you could win more. Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there. Oh. Very clever.
Yeah.
I'm a little dyslexic, so I usually read, misplay more, win less.
Oh, okay. So he intentionally sends to the graveyard the Giant Rex off of Curious when we were both like, by now he's got to send the Trick Clown, right?
Yeah.
He keeps milling hat trickers.
I mean, it's not terrible to send the Giant Rex though, at least because
he has Snow and he can get 2 monsters that way. But he would get 2 monsters either way.
Yeah, I still would have sent the Trick Clown probably because it's a little more recurring. Maybe he's worried about his life points. I don't know exactly, which he should be considering we've got Maximus there. But.
He has no way of knowing that we're in a position to just OTK him. Although, playing through Fairy Tale Snow isn't easy. And I'm pretty sure there are 2 in there at the moment, but I think he's going to make Minerva and mill a second one.
Yeah, he winds up with a live Snow by the end of this.
I mean, he could just have one by detaching the Snow now, but I'm pretty sure he mills it and detaches. Well, he does detach the Snow. But, okay, so it was just the Snow. Oh no, he definitely uses it to make another rank 4 thing.
Yeah, he makes Tornado Dragon in a second.
Oh yeah, Tornado Dragon doesn't really affect anything that we're doing except for...
We can't put out our Waterfront right away like I would have liked to.
Yeah, we need to put a counter on something. So the idea is to try and burn any card into the Kyoto Waterfront so it gets a counter so it can protect itself. But there's not going to be a way to do that. If we play it, it's going to get destroyed.
I think that's where he just milled the Snow.
Okay, so there was a second.
So he's got the one there you see at the top of the grave?
Yeah. Alright, we draw into our, domain lock, Iron Dragon.
Yeah, this changes everything a bit. Because he's got Snow, so we can't just make our Maximus plays. He's got Tornado Dragon, we can't just Waterfront. And now we got the Tiamatan, so we're trying to just net the most we can, so we're just going to play an Instant Fusion in that zone.
Now there's 3 cards in the column, and because his effect is Quick Play, we can special Tiamatan to any zone.
Yeah, the issue here, though, is that our Crusadia OTK now becomes
I think
a little off limits, but we couldn't do anything anyway.
Well, we misplayed here. We did not need to put it there.
I'm sorry?
We're putting Tiamatan in the zone between the Saryuja and the Tornado Dragon. We could have just put it where either the Wolf is or the Lumina, allowing us to bring out our Thousand Eyes Restrict or Millennium Eyes Restrict in front of Saryuja. So that was the misplay we made in this game. Because at this point, we're deciding where to put Tiamatan, so we could blow out 2 of his cards, which is why it makes sense to put it in front of the Saryuja.
Also, killing either of the other cards, they trigger the Curious and the Minerva.
Yeah, but we could have also elected to use the Lumina or the Wolf, even though they don't do much.
Yeah, this just seemed better in that we're netting more cards, but also it's not like our Crusadia thing's not going to be live for a while because of this snow.
Well, we could have potentially got the Gamma Seal out right away.
Yeah.
So we managed to trigger his Saryuja by accident by just playing the Tiamatan in front of it, giving us the opportunity to try and negate the snow and forcing out the snow, but flipping over our Millennium Eyes is not actually a beneficial play for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to force his snow at this point, just so he can't interrupt us in the future.
We're actually making it so there are no open extra deck zones. Because we're domain locking the Saryuja zone, and we're going to have a face-down Millennium Eyes Restrict. Meaning what our really broken hand turned into something playable, but...
Yeah, just snow being there, we had to play funny, and it cost us the easy win. But we could probably still win. I mean, I actually don't remember how this duel went. I do remember now.
Yeah.
I had to take a funky line of play where I wind up tribute summoning for Dogoran.
Yeah, because we currently still don't have any counters on the Kyoto Waterfront. Oh, also, one thing that did come up is our opponent did a silly play of... the Tornado Dragon was attempted to pop the Instant Fusion, which was weird, but it made it so that we could play the Kyoto Waterfront earlier. But if he didn't, we would have had to have popped the Tornado Dragon to get the Kyoto Waterfront to stick on the board.
Yeah, now I'm determining whether I want to trigger his Curious or his Minerva, because I have to trigger one.
Yeah,
when I Dogoran.
Yeah, we're going to nuke the entire board.
And I wind up choosing to trigger the Curious, because he really has crap in his graveyard.
Curious can destroy our cards, whereas... I mean, Minerva could destroy our cards, and Curious just picks up a card from his graveyard, but he actually has been over banishing cards with snow, so he actually has no quality card to add back to his hand. If you're not familiar with Curious, if it's destroyed by your opponent's card effect or sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, no, even better, if it leaves the field by your opponent's card effect, you can add any card in your graveyard back to your hand. So in this case, it's just like a Giant Rex or a Snow or something. You know, he could have had Monster Reborn there if he'd left it.
This is the slowest duel, by the way, just because I had to play around snows, and like as you saw, they had a Kaiju, and I wound up having to tribute summon a Dogoran, so just figuring out some goofy plays like that slowed me down a bit. So, and of course, we're going to just take our +1 right here.
Now, we can't attack the turn we use Dogoran's effect. We have normal summoned. We did check to see that we couldn't attack, just out of verifying, because who on earth uses Dogoran's effect to actually blow up the board?
I do.
You've done it?
Not all.
Just then?
Well, that counts.
I suppose. Now, our opponent has a Fairy Tale Snow in their hand and can just flip the Dogoran over and attack it, but they elect to banish their graveyard, which will get them their Giant Rex back.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that play. It was, I want to say, unnecessary, but especially because I'm pretty sure he just goes into Dweller, which, from everything he's seen in our deck, Dweller's not really... You kind of don't care.
I don't think there's a card that activates in our deck in the graveyard with the exception of, like, Lazuli. And Barrage is Exceed Material Effect.
Yeah.
If you didn't intend on doing much, a Dweller, I guess, is a very default safe play, but so is Babuska.
Yeah, Babuska would have been much better, but we have Kaijus regardless. So.
Okay, so maybe
there really wasn't much he could do, I guess, with that. But I just feel like it was a waste of his snow, because now we don't have to play around the snow, pretty much.
Yeah, he could have just normaled the snow, attacked over the Dogoron, and then
I mean, we won turn
defense.
We won turn 2 if he didn't have a lot of snow, so the live snow is the issue. Now, to me, it looks like we could search a Kaiju him, and then put out Gamma Seal, and I don't even think he has negates, so
There's no
we just basically take the Gamma Seal for ourselves just so he can't use it, and then punch through the Kaiju for game.
So this is how you get to see the tiny minimal Crusadia engine. Alright, so the minimal Crusadia engine is this. We just get a normal summon the Maximus and go into Magius. Now, the monster we're going to special summon to our field is actually Gamma Seal. It could be like a Mekk-Knight in this case, because we do have 2 cards in the column, but we're going to give him the Lightning Strike Kaiju, because it's a Kaiju he can't actually trigger on our turn.
Yeah, that's why, aside from Gamma Seal, we run good Kaijus. Kaijus with good effects, but they can't trigger on the other person's turn, so...
No Gardala, no Kumongus. We try our best not to give them Gamma Seal if the scenario doesn't suggest it. Now, at this point, we don't even have our Gamma Seal, so there's no need to keep our Waterfront. It's just technically a card that our opponent can use at this point.
Well, the game's over, so it makes no difference really, but if we underclocked him, he'd take, I guess, 1,200 versus the 1,000 extra he's taking. But it doesn't matter, he's going to lose regardless.
So, we have everything we need. That second monster that your Equimax would point to kill your opponent's not always necessary.
Not only that, you can only do 1 negate per turn, so it's a little redundant, and I'm pretty sure we do over 8,000 in this attack anyway.
And that's the biggest monster we can give him.
Yeah. So what, 82? So
82
do we
with
really
just the
need?
Maximus.
Yeah, we definitely don't need another guy. So I think we wound up playing this guy twice.
Not intentionally, but it did occur. I think they're playing Noble Knights.
We have a brick here, and that Pankratops is a one-of. Excuse me, could only be specialed once per turn. And we have 2. So my new build's probably only going to run 2. This way, if I see it, I see it, but I'll almost never see 2.
Yeah, we don't really care to draw multiples of cards. So that's one of the new Noble Knight cards. I'm not familiar with it. I think it just searches any Noble Knight monster and Noble Knight equip spell, which is pretty good. Oh, it looks like it adds itself back to your hand as well, which is pretty neat. So it's like an unlimited card.
Yeah, these Noble Knight cards are actually pretty good.
I think the biggest issue I have with the Noble Knight deck is that I don't know the difference between all the equipment spells. To me, they're all just a bunch of swords. I can't imagine why any particular, knight needs to hold 8 swords or 25 swords. It's just crazy. You can't swing them all.
I could see 2 swords.
Yeah. Make it so your opponent has to, dodge all these swords. So he goes into one of the most broken monsters in the game, Isolde. 2 Tales of the Noble Knights. I call it Isolde. People call it Isolde and Isolde. I don't know. I had a English professor call them Isolde, so I don't know. I just kind of stuck with it. Feels like Isolde should be more broken in the Noble Knight deck than any other deck, because there's naturally going to be equipment spells in the deck.
Yeah, well, not when there's FTKs running around right now.
It's nice to see that our deck has open barrage, giving us a chance to see how it works. I don't recall. There was a game where we drew one of our engines and never bothered to play it. It could be the barrage.
I think this game we definitely... Pretty sure I win with 3 relevant usable cards in hand. It might be everything minus the Maximus. I think I just win with Maximus and whatever my top deck is. And I put a Pankratops out, but I don't think it has to do anything. It just stands there. Oh, I think I draw a Kaiju.
Oh yeah. Kaijus make this much easier with Maximus. Any one Kaiju and any monster you can special summon. And Pankratops accomplishes the monster you can special summon. He's kind of like the Kaiju you can just put on your own board with an effect without a field spell.
I see him more of as a Mekk-Knight.
Because they have to have something, I guess.
Sort of. Because he does something. I guess Kaijus do too, but they're all like somewhat preemptive for the most part.
Feels like a board that starts out this way should be able to end on something much crazier. You know, just link spam. There's probably something amongst these monsters that prevent them from going into certain things, but I'm not really familiar enough with them all.
Yeah, at one point it says like only summon warriors or something. Probably right. Oh, this is annoying because I have to read all this. I'm just checking if... Oh, Instant Fusion, not Kaiju. I'm mainly just checking if he has anything that activates on my turn, and I don't believe he does.
With the exception of a hand trap that we may not have seen, there are no cards we're worried about going into this play.
Yeah, so it winds up being pretty simple. Just try to put a big Equimax out there.
Yeah, so placing of your Pankratops is important.
Probably should have summoned the Pankratops below my guy, but then I'd have to get rid of him. So I could just Barrage there or Instant Fusion there.
Yeah, well, we have two other summons, is the point. Two other ways to trigger the Magius. Now, the only problem with this particular play is it's weak to a hand trap. We could have done the Millennium Eyes, but then we would be weak to it at another point in this combo, I assume. Although Monster Reborn would have allowed us to recover.
Yeah, I think we had enough extenders that nothing quite mattered.
His monster says monsters at 1800 or less cannot be targeted, so his 1500 XZ monster is kind of in the way. It's kind of nice that Thousand Eyes Restrict actually makes Mekk-Knights live. If we did have one, we would be able to summon it now.
It's a little unnecessary, but just have him in the grave and live in the future, in case there's a future in the duel. I went into the Inkribo.
Yeah, if we didn't beat our opponent, we can Monster Reborn Thousand Eyes Restrict, and then they can't do anything.
Yeah. Or, well, they just can't attack. I guess Pankratops serves as a body.
It increases the attack of Equimax.
Yeah.
They're always like struggling in the sense of, can I kill him with Portal Sword, or do I need to stop on Equimax? Where exactly is this play going?
Yeah, I try to just find the most optimal route, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
If the game is
I'm
over,
just doing the math here to make sure I'm 4,000 more than him. It was basically the idea. Because if I'm 4,000 more than, or well, he has 9k actually, so I need to be 45 more than him. I didn't even notice that when I was doing the math, but I think I dealt 9,000 plus anyway. So
96. So
yeah, so it's a good thing I grabbed the field spell.
So we're going into our second game against the same Noble Knight player. We were joining games kind of randomly, and we were just picking the first game that we can get into, and we didn't realize we picked the same player.
Yeah, I thought he was going to make me go first, and I guess he didn't realize it was the same player either. But we actually had an okay hand to go first, I guess.
But they opened even weaker than they did last time.
Would we have been able to end with... no, I don't think our hand was that good going first. Going second, though, this obviously looks like we have game.
So we opened the most horrifying monster in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Y'all remember back when it was normal summon rat and you just... Oh!
Oh no, the game is over. So now Chaka 9 is an option, which means rat is 2 monsters. We had considered playing Tenki.
Yeah, because Tenki helps with the zone.
Yeah, it'll sit down and just wait there so you can summon a Mekk-Knight, but you didn't really want a zoo in hand, I guess, that badly.
Yeah, I'd rather see Barrage than a zoo monster. Although Tenki to search rat to get the Chaka 9 live isn't bad.
trying to get our purple going. Bait out any hand traps, maybe. Because if we have enough monsters, we could just go into Boral Sword and try and OTK that way.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's a funny duel because I don't really see us generating that many monsters. Technically, you need Boral Sword and a 2000 monster, or less even, a little bit, to just win. Because Boral Sword will attack something. Boral Sword's sort of 6000 because you're going to deal 3k, and then you're going to deal 3k plus half their attack. So in this case, 39. So you need an 1100 monster plus Boral Sword to win. So now the idea is to link into Underclock.
I recall we were discussing whether it made sense to have his attack with the Underclock.
Well, we wouldn't have had the appropriate zone for the instant fusion if I did that. So what you said almost cost us the duel, or at least cost us the win.
Yeah,
because we need a zone under Underclock to use the instant fusion.
So making the Underclock with to use the Whiptail to reduce the attack by 1200 was going to prevent us from playing Brilliant Fusion or Instant Fusion.
Yeah.
And then we get to send Ronald to the graveyard and add Ronald back to our hand.
Yeah.
So Ronald is our friend who made day 2 at Nats this year, and he plays Abram in his deck.
Triple.
He plays triple?
Last time I spoke to him, he played triple.
He's been playing that new zombie deck lately.
Yeah, so now I'm just taking forever and thinking to myself, oh yeah, I should normal summon first because I used the rat for the first normal. Now it's just a matter of...
We could have reduced his attack by discarding our Twin Twister. By making the Seraph-Knight's attack back to 2300.
I guess that's true, but...
We also have Instant Fusion, so...
It doesn't matter anyway. If his monster had 0 attack, we have a game. At 1800, we have an extra 900 attack. Use this Instant Fusion just to make sure our attacks go through.
I guess we don't really respond to Honest, but if there was like an Honest, I think we would just gain more attack.
Yeah.
And even if it didn't work properly, because we would have doubled our attack and halved his prior to the damage step, and we would have then ran into the Honest afterwards, we wouldn't have died in the battle, at the very least. Because Boral Sword Dragon can't be destroyed by battle. So up against everyone's arch nemesis player. If you play on Yugioh Pro often enough, you'll play against player quite often. Oh, we had an interesting deck idea. Deck theory.
Oh yeah. This reminded me of one of my ideas. We see the machine dupe, and we were talking about actually changing Decatron to being a machine with Reproductus. Is that right?
Reproductus, the Link 2 dinosaur that can change types or attributes.
Yeah, and like it didn't make sense to us to build a deck, and then thinking about, oh yeah, Card Trooper and Infernoids, so now like that would be something.
That's actually an interesting hand. I think we could actually send the Maximus to the graveyard with the Brilliant Fusion and then add it back to a hand with Draco, but we don't have a way to... we'd still need a Link monster first.
Yeah, obviously as a 400 monster, so we're not worried. It's a matter of like how to get the AK out there most easily. 84, or rather, I guess.
Yeah, so this we look like we have enough monsters to just do the Boral Sword OTK. Otherwise, we probably would have made an effort to make Equimax. But we also have access to a couple of Mekk-Knights. We can now summon Tiamatan and actually domain lock our opponent. Because if you play against Infernoids, you'll know that you get blown out if Imagination resolves. So if we domain lock him, he can't use it.
Yeah, I know. We know pretty much everything about Infernoids, so it's kind of our best matchup just by
knowing what
being familiar with their capabilities.
It's an archetype of some of the longest text in the game, and we know exactly what they all say.
Every card. So I just did this to use my normal summon that was in addition. Figured I may as well.
Well, we could special the Draco.
Well, just the fact any of this could get us into Boral Sword, and then we could just put out the Mekk-Knight. We could put out whatever we monster are born, and it's just like this normal summon plus any 2K monster we put out is game. So this was like a little unnecessary because I forgot that my searchable monster born's already in the grave. In my hand, I mean, excuse me. But it didn't matter because this plus monster born's game, or this plus if I still have my regular normal summon from Avram this game. So like we're just overthinking a little to try to be, I guess, best. And we have Called by the Grave if you did have any shenanigans coming our way. So,
and we elected to take the Morning Star in the event.
The duel continues.
Yeah, because then we can use... we make it harder for him to destroy our cards. When we tried playing this out earlier, we wound up going first a lot. Our opponents kept making us go first.
Oh, this is interesting.
Salamangreats.
Secret Village with no spellcaster, I thought was interesting.
I just assumed that they had a trap card and they have, what's his name? Multi-Faker in hand. Because if we're playing against Altergeist, that's the only deck that really makes sense for Secret Village to be in. So our other Brilliant Fusions are now live. We do play a wide variety of monsters, so Rivalry of the Warlords would be a pain in the butt.
So we're thinking whether do I destroy it now or later. I think I decide on...
Well, we have till the end of this turn to activate Twin Twister and decide what to destroy.
Yeah.
Because if we get multi-fakered at any point, we're not going to be able to play spells, so we have to fight with ourselves over whether we want to set the Twin Twister for next turn or activate it while we know for sure we can. And then decide, do we need spells badly enough to hit the Secret Village, or should we hit the back row?
I figure it's just such a simplified game state that I may as well...
This was just a YGO Pro thing. I suggested that we activate the Mekk-Knight, because technically we have priority in the end phase, and our opponent might have been able to chain a card at this point, so I wanted to give him the opportunity to flip his trap before we committed to using the Twin Twister. So we just prompted the Mekk-Knight just in case.
And the reason I leave the Secret Village alive is because it doesn't actually do anything right now, versus his other card might have been able to do something. It was a torrential, so I guess I'm okay with how it worked out, other than he drew a spellcaster, so Protocol.
Well, we only have one spell at the moment that doesn't really do anything. This would be a nice card for him to negate. If we just summon Bababoon and it get negated by Protocol.
Yeah.
We get 2 more Bababoons. We get to get rid of our spell card, which doesn't do anything. And we've been unable to summon our dinosaur anyway.
The Kaiju could definitely be useful. In that it could nerf his spells and it
make
could make his trap dead.
I guess we decided we don't need to play spells.
Yeah, I just this is your idea to just crush the Bababoon, force his trap card, and if you didn't want to use it, just get 2 more bodies.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if that was the right play, because we get the same exact scenario if we just attack over with Indigo Eclipse and then attack with Bababoon. We'd actually still have the Bababoon. So what we did was we burned the use of the Protocol when we could have just attacked over the monster first. But it gave us the potential for our opponent to misplay. Sometimes it's good to set your opponent up to misplay. If they don't know how your cards work, then they can play into them for you.
Bouncing a Mekk-Knight's a little funny.
Well, at the moment,
I mean, it's not like it does nothing, but it is funny. Yeah, this I played a little funny. I should have just Kaiju first thing. But he only has 3,200, so it just feels like so easy to, you know, get him right away, I guess.
Yeah, because if we special either Pankratops or the Indigo Eclipse, either one of them can be bounced, and both of them can only be summoned that way once per turn.
Yeah, so I misplayed this a little bit, but I don't think he bounces me regardless.
I think he's waiting for the battle phase.
Yeah, which I understand. It's not a terrible move or anything.
But we know for sure that he could bounce us at any point.
He'd just have to flip his back row, and then once I do this, this becomes 3,200 life to deal, you know.
And all we need is a Thoroughblade. to go along with our Indigo Eclipse.
Or Whiptail, doesn't even know how to.
Yeah, we could have done a Whiptail.
Whiptail attack even on do 5k if he had more life, you know. I wound up just doing Thorough Blade, popping his Kaiju, and attacking for 4k.
All of this is hoping that there's no multi-faker in hand, but not much to worry about there. We were operating under a theory in Yu-Gi-Oh! I heard of. It's called Cabazula's Theorem.
Yeah, Cabazula's Theory. Where just keep hitting them slowly, beat them down if they don't put anything out there.
Well, Cabazula's Theorem I read, I think it was an article on TCG Player. It might have been from DZ. It might have been from a video I saw from DZ, or maybe, what's his name? T-Wiz. They were talking about it. The idea being, if you had a Mirror Force and your opponent just normal summon like Cabazula's and punched you in the face, and then you don't Mirror Force it because it's just one card, and they just keep doing it, at some point it becomes like a big problem if you don't like use your big cards. But simplified game states, you should take advantage of putting in damage. So yeah, it's actually a pretty neat plant deck. I think the Aroma Link Monster hasn't come out yet. If you gain life, add a plant from your deck to your hand, and you contribute a monster with points to summon a plant from your deck. So that card can Lone Fire any of your cards into your Lone Fire.
It's nice to have like a toolbox deck. But what about when I gain life?
Well, that affects once per turn. So you tribute to Mekk-Knight to summon a plant from deck and get Spore. I've never actually used Spore, but I think it's supposed to be good. You like banish a plant and it comes back and gains its levels or something?
Yeah, it is good. Another card that's not out yet.
Well, we can't set our games really to go TCG only, because if we do, we just sit there forever waiting for someone to like join.
Yeah.
So most players are on YGO Pro to test new stuff and get ahead of the curve, which I don't blame them. I actually much prefer YGO Pro over Dueling Book. I can't fight with opponents for even a second. I lose my mind.
Yeah, almost everything works perfectly on here, so I think it's better in that case. Because it's much slower, the duels, otherwise.
Yeah,
The Dueling Book's much slower than this, and this is slow too. Just because, I mean, you need time to think, you know.
And the timer...
Yeah, the timer makes it...
simulates a slow play warning.
Yeah, I think it does a good job of that too.
I always wanted to try the Carrot Weight Champion, to summon itself back over and over again. Pretty cool. I think that's the new cover card for the next set, Savage Strike. The Savage Dragon.
That card is really good. He's got 2 negates, but he could only use 1 per turn.
But he can negate anything, but he doesn't destroy the thing he negates.
But he could negate card or effect. So he could negate random stuff like banishing Slumber from Grave, you know.
Retro, Soul Charge. That feels wrong. I feel like you should have linked away the Carrot Weight Champ and the
Bulb.
Bulb first.
Yeah, maybe he didn't have anything extra to link into.
Maybe one of these cards was restricting what he can summon. I mean, I doubt it, just because... We didn't even bother to read that. I think we did some pretty cool play and just ended the game when we finally took over.
Yeah,
but...
I think I wound up just...
we
did a really cool play, I remember now.
Oh yeah, this game had some neat stuff. Something to do with like a Bababoon and a Crystal Wing.
I think that my next card is Bababoon, now that we're... I guess he's out of relevant plants.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Oh.
There's not that many plants in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are, like, good.
Just some big silver.
This was a weird play, too, just in that, I mean, he adds one of the top 4 cards to his hand is a little, like,
so
okay.
He played Saryuja as draw 1.
Draw one of your top 4 cards you choose. So it's not terrible, but it's still not particularly good.
And he played all his good cards already. He played Soul Charge. I mean, I don't know what's left.
Me neither. Maybe it was a level 4 Earth monster is what I was thinking. I was worried that he'd, and it's this thing.
White Rose Dragon. So this should Some new Black Rose Dragon stuff coming out, some plants. Oh, we're given the option of living fossil or living fossil or living fossil, so...
I was hoping to give him dead fossil.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it was not the one that was randomly selected. Oh, neat. We can, like, Mekk-Knight Blue into 3 cards, so we play a bunch of Mekk-Knights.
Yeah, but the living fossil goes away.
Oh.
Crystal Wings. So now I have to decide which guy to get rid of.
Fortunately, there's a kaiju for whichever one.
Yeah.
But only one.
Only one though, yeah. So the play was to kaiju the Crystal Wing. Because we could reborn it later.
You know, we figured, why do we need to make a good deck when our opponent has perfectly good synchro monsters available for us?
Yeah, he's a good guy. So now the idea is just baiting out the Boral guy with something that isn't Monster Reborn.
We didn't want Monster Reborn to get negated. Any other card just sits on the field.
No one really wants you to gain 2 cards off of one. So, like, they'll negate Desires and they'll negate this usually.
If you don't negate Desires, you sometimes give your opponent the chance to draw 2 cards that out your card, or a bait and a card, so...
Yeah. Either way, this is fine. Not to mention, it just negates, so my guy gets to stay on the board.
Yeah, we keep the body.
Yeah, that was convenient. I didn't realize that when I originally played it. But now we made a really cool play with the Crystal Wing. Because we sort of make our own Saryuja here when you think about it. You know what's funny? I could have just destroyed his Saryuja if I went in his zone.
Oh.
I was gonna summon Rat, but you came up with a better play where I negate my own Bababoon.
Oh yeah, we negate Bababoon, we'll gain 1200 attack, and we'll summon 2 more Bababoons from the deck, and we'll get to put back the rat we don't need anymore. And I don't think the Call by the Grave... I don't think the Call by the Grave is relevant at the moment, so both of these cards are kind of dead.
Yeah. It was pretty cool, actually. I think we draw into, like, Brilliant Fusion or something. Something very nice. I feel like one Crusadia boy could get us the win. I mean, probably not if I go in that zone. That was not the right play, but...
Well, we don't know what we're drawing, so we don't
that too.
We don't have the information to make the choices here. So, Barrage, we could put back the rat.
Which I would have rather have kept than the...
Oh, yeah. I tried to stop you from putting it back, but the program...
Oh, look, the Crusadia guy, just like I said.
Yeah, I think we don't need the Called by the Grave, because we could special him.
Yeah.
He goes to where links go. We could just put him in front of Saryuja.
I think we still have our normal, too.
We normal the Bababoon.
You're right.
But yeah, the Call by the Grave is not relevant because there's no hand traps, there's no monsters in the graveyard that do anything on our turn.
He's got 6k, so that's good to know. I think we wind up just hard summoning Equimax because we don't actually need Crusadia to do it.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
We lower his weakest monster.
Equimax's only requirement is that you use a link monster.
The Equimax you could tech into any deck and just be able to beat over problem cards in the future.
Yeah, so
like,
your
look
deck...
what we do.
If you can't afford a Boral Sword Dragon, which a lot of people play to out things like Ultimate Falcon, just make an Equimax.
Yeah, Equimax is really good. Like, look at this. He's got his 1600 monster there. We're gonna hit him for 10k right now.
And we have a breakthrough skill, technically.
Yeah, that too. And then we still have... I guess the Crystal Wing just gains attack at this point, but... Yeah, this is...
10,000.
Yeah. That's winning with an explanation point, you know? One Punch Man, as you like to say.
Yeah. Well, he's One Punch Man, so is Grid Magi de Iza in the Vanish deck. Oh, by the way...
So was that fusion thing that we played, Salamangrate?
Oh, yeah, there was some Cyberse Clock Dragon? No, it's not that one. I don't know. I don't know the name of the Salamangrate cards. They're all the same to me.
This is a weird hand for sure.
Yeah, kaijus with nothing to really do with them.
Well, you got to think about what our terraformings are. They're either Black Garden, Crusadia Revival, or Kaiju Waterfront. So, I mean, Kaiju Waterfront obviously has relevance right now. Meta could get us some
live kaiju.
Live kaijus, exactly. Or, well, a live kaiju. We're never going to have 2 live kaijus.
Well, Valhalla Hall of the Fallen is a terrifying card. It usually just means instant Christia.
Yeah, we were praying for no Christia, and then we got a weathery card, and then we, you know,
And the weathery spell card that's on the board only, like, halves our attack or something.
Yeah, it's something silly. Irrelevant.
So that's not really scary, but, the only... We did make a variation of this deck that plays, Alistair the Invoker, and, Negative Terraforming. So yeah,
Surprise, motherfucker!
So yeah, we played a variation that played the Invoked Engine. We just had 2 extra deck monsters, I think.
No, I had it depends. I had first 2 Mechabos and a Purgatrio, and then I went down to just 1 Mechabo, 1 Purgatrio.
Then the Zoo Engine just took over. The Zoo Engine just makes it easier for all your other cards to work, but...
I still don't know what's better. I'm still testing everything, like nothing's finalized yet, really.
I think both of these cards don't really matter. They have essentially the same effect.
Yeah, they both gained the effect, so I'll give him I'll leave his guy in attack mode just so I could deal more damage potentially.
So at the moment there's 1 counter on Kyoto Waterfront, so we don't have a negate yet. But that's going to be 2. So now we can negate anything. And the only card effect he has at the moment is to have our attack.
You know what's nice is using Thousand Eyes Restrict to put that monster in a specific zone for your own Mekk-Knights.
Yeah. Well, that's not happening. Now, you
suggest... He just surrenders here. Yeah.
I don't blame him. I mean, we weren't going to win right then, but...
no, but we were going to control the duel.
Yeah, a lot of his
Spider
cards...
gets us another negate.
And his cards summon themselves back if they're banished during the standby phase, regardless of what happens. Oh, by the way, you might have seen some of my subscribe buttons popping up. Yeah, if you haven't done that yet, you should probably do that so you can see their next episode.
Yeah.
Phantom Skyblaster. He doesn't really come up in any of these games, but he's one of the big reasons we've been playing Double Summon.
Yeah, his normal summon is just so strong in Link format. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's just Scapegoat you could play on your turn without any of the drawbacks, except that they're not level 1.
It costs a normal summon, and a normal summon is valuable, but he's the most valuable normal summon in the game right now, arguably. And I don't even think it's... I think you could make it a pretty strong argument, too. So, Mouse was barraging around for a second.
Yeah, we were saying we could use Barrage to send Thoroughblade, discard Barrage, and draw a card.
Yeah.
Although it would have been preferable if that was a monster. Although, considering our opponent Twin Twisters are Barrage, they must have played through Zoo format and kind of got scared and forgot, oh yeah, that deck is kind of dead.
Yeah.
Zoo Engine's kind of nice. I threw 1 or 2 Tridents onto my cart to complete my order.
Tridents?
Yeah, it's on TCG Player. I know, he's probably the least likely card to come back, but...
Yeah, I kind of think you're drunk. Go home.
I had to complete my order somehow. And I can... People play Zoo format just as like a fun format.
Interesting.
Because most of those cards are like inexpensive now that they're all like forbidden.
Well, I like the idea of... oh, this was interesting, actually. That he activated Scapegoat now. I don't know if it made sense.
Well, we were gonna do Blue Sky, but we didn't have a way to put purple out based on the board state at that time, if we did that. Now we could put this Barrage anywhere, but we wouldn't know, so we didn't misplay, technically.
We're just planning on getting rid of his board. If we could get rid of all the monsters. He has 1 card in hand, we don't see him doing much. If we get rid of all the monsters and put anything defensive even, just having bodies even, is enough to make it a pain for him, I think.
This is a 6 monster play.
Yeah, I'm just trying to maximize my monsters, so if I get any Zoo monster in the extra zone and then normal the Sky Blaster.
We could just move him, get Blue Sky there, and then Link Summon. I think that's what we do. We go into Morningstar. We have a card to discard now.
Yeah. I don't recall exactly what I did here, but...
Well, the other option was just summon the Zoo first and put it in the extra zone. Morningstar will let us search secrets for succession.
Probably should have searched secrets just to have more defense next turn.
But the reason you did it, I assume... Oh wait, we still can... Oh yeah.
Because this is going to be our 6-monster board right here.
Alright. Go Phantom Skyblaster. Ultra Rare Phantom Skyblaster is really expensive. I don't know if he deserves that price tag. Like $14.
Why not? He's great.
He is great, but he just came out that way. Alright, so what to make? We can make Topologic Bomber Dragon and nuke the entire board. We could just attack everything with all these Skyblaster tokens, because they have the attack to get over a Scapegoat. We just need to make a monster that can get over the Gamma Seal.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
I think I definitely didn't want you to go into the Topologic. Like, I feel like that's like the laziest play.
I never want to go into Topologic.
We play Black Garden, so it logically makes sense to play it.
Yeah.
This is also 5 attacks, so this clears the board and does more damage.
I don't think there was much to Reborn, but I figured it's live.
So it didn't matter what we were
Yeah, it didn't matter. So now he's sitting there, top decking, having a zombie world. Pretty sure I sent him a little bit of a taunt message here, just because I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I would never do that. So if you ever hear or see Legacy Crusaders on Yugioh Pro and they're playing against you and they say something...
I just thought it was funny, you know.
It was funny.
It is funny.
But I wouldn't do it either way. So if you see Legacy Crusaders tell you that our tokens are better than yours or something like that...
My tokens are better than his.
Yeah, they're bigger.
He needs to know it.
All our tokens are zombies. If only we were playing Vampire Sucker, we'd have been able to make it. Now, our opponent never responded to us, but
we know he's mad that his tokens aren't strong enough.
now, not sure what card he could draw that would be useful. I'm pretty sure he draws Book of Life.
Yeah, brings back his Gozuki and sends the 2800 guy.
2000.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm not sure if his effect brings him back in defense, or if he just keeps bringing him in defense.
I'm 90% sure it brings him back in defense.
Because I always thought he was oddly easy to just attack over, if you play the right kind of a deck. Someone is very afraid of our zoo monster.
Yeah, I don't like that he banished our Whiptail.
So, Doom King Baldarsh? I didn't hover it long enough to read his name. We have the option of putting his monster in defense or our monster in defense.
I think I like to put his this way. I just have more link fodder.
Yeah,
if I wanted to.
I think I said to put ours in defense at first, which was silly. Although, I do tell you to put our monster in defense in the standby phase. I forgot we had a Mekk-Knight Purple coming back. But by putting our monster in defense now, you're not activating the effect of a zombie before the Doom King comes back, so it's one less effect to activate.
Yeah.
We could even use the purple now, but there's no cards that we can use to summon our other Mekk-Knight. Other than Avram, I guess we could have summoned.
Yeah, we just played it. Yeah, boring and safe.
And Avram can't get over the Doom King. But purple can.
Well, listen, I told him my tokens are better than his. I want my tokens to be used for the kill. I saw Link Spider, I said I could do an extra 500, and I decided, you know what? We're going to do this with the tokens. So I'm just doing some math. I see an easy 4,500, but then I'm looking how could I deal extra, and then it's like, oh, just activate the effect after the Doom guy's in the grave,
So
and
kill
I'll deal an extra
so deal-
half of 1,700, which would be game.
Yeah, half of 17 is 850. You get the extra 850 now.
Yep.
So we have 5,250, I guess. 5,350.
As you can see, I'm planning to attack with World Sword and kill him with a token, of course.
Alright, and that's going to wrap up our duels. If you enjoyed this How to Play, stay tuned for future How to Play episodes, and subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Also look out for our Ask Judge Man series, and we'll see you next time.